Commander Jack Harper stood at the viewport of the space station, looking out at the vast darkness dotted with stars. The message about a strange signal from Europa had arrived 3 days ago. Now he was heading a mission that might change everything. "Sir, the shuttle is ready," said Officer Steve Bennett. His voice was steady, but Jack could see worry in his eyes. "Thank you, Bennett. Is the team ready?" Jack asked, turning away from the stars. "Yes, sir. Everyone is on board and waiting." Jack nodded and followed Bennett to the shuttle bay. The small team included the best scientists and soldiers Earth had to offer. Their job was simple: find out what was sending the signal from Jupiter's icy moon. The journey to Europa took 2 weeks. Jack spent most of that time reviewing what little they knew. The signal had appeared suddenly. It was not random noise. It had patterns that suggested intelligence. On the 15th day, they entered orbit around Europa. The moon's icy surface gleamed below them. "Signal is stronger now," said Karen Miller, the communications expert. Her fingers moved quickly over the control panel. "It's coming from that area." She pointed to a spot on the map. They landed near the source. The team put on their spacesuits and stepped onto the ice. Jack led the way, following Miller's directions. They walked for an hour until they reached a flat area that looked different from the rest. "The signal is directly below us," Miller said. As if responding to her words, the ice began to shake. The team stepped back as a circular section of ice slid away, revealing a dark hole. "Stay alert," Jack ordered, turning on his suit lights. He peered into the darkness. A soft blue glow appeared from below. Then something rose from the opening. It wasn't human. The creature was tall and thin with 4 arms and smooth gray skin. It wore something like a uniform with strange symbols. Behind it, more creatures appeared, different in shape and color. "We welcome Earth's representatives," said the first creature in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Xorl of the Arcturian Alliance, member of the Galactic Council." Jack was speechless for a moment. "I am Commander Jack Harper of the United Earth Defense Force. We have been observing your world for some time," said another alien, smaller with purple skin. "I am Diplomat Venka of the Sirius Collective. We believe your species is ready to join our community." Back on Earth, the news of alien contact spread fast. Leaders from all nations gathered to meet the council representatives. Jack stood at attention during these meetings, watching carefully. The aliens offered amazing things: cures for diseases, clean energy technology, faster than light travel. Earth's governments quickly agreed to an alliance. But something bothered Jack. During one meeting, a scientist asked about the council's history with other young species. Ambassador Xorl's 4 eyes blinked rapidly, and Diplomat Venka changed color slightly before answering with a story that seemed too perfect. Later, Jack found Karen Miller in the communications center. "Did you notice anything strange about the council representatives today?" he asked quietly. Miller looked around to make sure they were alone. "Yes. When I was setting up their communication devices, I detected frequencies they didn't mention. They're sending messages we can't access." Jack frowned. "I need your help. Something doesn't feel right about all this." "The whole world is celebrating, Jack. They think we found friends in the stars." "Maybe we have," Jack said, "but I want to be sure. Can you decode those hidden transmissions?" Miller hesitated, then nodded. "It will take time, and if we're caught." "I know, but what if the council isn't telling us everything? We need to find out what they're really saying when they think we can't hear." As they spoke, more council ships entered Earth orbit, bringing more aliens and more technology. The world was changing faster than anyone could have imagined. And underneath the excitement and hope, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more to the Galactic Council's sudden interest in Earth. 6 months passed since the Galactic Council arrived on Earth. Council technology now appeared everywhere. People used their medical devices in hospitals. Their transport systems connected major cities. Their energy stations powered whole countries. Jack Harper watched all this from his office in the United Earth Defense Force headquarters. On his desk sat reports about the amazing progress humanity had made with alien help. But next to those reports was a small device Karen Miller had built. It could pick up the hidden frequencies in Council communications. "Any progress?" Jack asked as Karen entered his office. She closed the door carefully behind her. "Yes," she said in a low voice. "I finally broke through their encryption last night. Listen to this." She pressed a button on the device. A voice, not human, spoke through the small speaker. "Phase 1 completion rate at 87%. Begin specimen collection in target cities according to schedule." Jack frowned. "Specimen collection. What does that mean?" "I don't know," Karen said. "But there's more. They keep mentioning something called harvesting protocols that will start after integration is complete." Jack stood up and paced the room. "We need more information, and maybe someone who understands what they're really doing with all this technology." 2 days later, Jack met Dr. Alan West in a quiet coffee shop far from any council buildings. Dr. West was a geneticist working on a council medical project. He looked nervous, his eyes moving to the door every few seconds. "Thank you for meeting me," Jack said. "Your message said it was important," Dr. West replied. "And private." Jack nodded. "I have concerns about the Council's true intentions. Have you noticed anything unusual in your work with them?" Dr. West was quiet for a moment. Then he leaned forward. "They are very interested in specific parts of human DNA. At first I thought they were just studying us. But they're collecting samples and data in ways that don't make sense for medical research." Jack told him about the hidden messages. Dr. West's face grew pale. "We need to know more," Jack said. "Would you work with us?" Quietly. Dr. West agreed. Together with Karen, they formed a small group working in secret. They called themselves the Resistance, though there was not much to resist yet. They just knew something was wrong. For weeks, they gathered information. Karen improved her device to catch more messages. Dr. West copied files from the Council's medical database. Jack used his position to access reports about Council activities around the world. Then one night, Karen burst into Jack's apartment. Her face was white with shock. "I intercepted a classified message," she said, breathing hard. "From the main Council ship to all their bases on Earth." She played the recording. A cold voice spoke clearly. "Target 2187. Designation Earth. Now at 92% integration. Proceed with standard harvesting protocols in 30 cycles. Prepare containment facilities for processing." "What's Target 2187? Jack asked. "Us," Karen whispered. "Earth is Target 2187. We're not being welcomed. We're being harvested." Dr. West arrived an hour later. After hearing the message, he showed them files he had found. Pictures of other worlds, other species, all listed as processed acquisitions. "They've done this before," he said. "Many times. We're just the next on their list." Jack looked at the faces of his friends. "We need proof that even the government can't ignore. And we need to find out exactly what harvesting means." "How?" Karen asked. "We're just 3 people." "For now," Jack said. "But there must be others who suspect something. We need to find them." As they talked, more Council ships entered Earth orbit. The news reported they brought more wonderful technology. But Jack, Karen, and Dr. West now saw each new ship as a threat growing closer every day. Nara watched the 3 humans from the shadows. For weeks she had followed their movements, noting their secret meetings and encrypted communications. As a Council security officer, it was her job to identify threats to the integration process. These 3 were definitely a threat. The tall male, Jack Harper, was military. The female, Karen Miller, was a communications expert. The older male, Dr. Alan West, worked in one of the Council's genetic research facilities. Together, they were gathering information they should not have. Nara should have reported them immediately, but something held her back. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was doubt. Either way, she continued to watch. Today, she followed Dr. West to the main council chamber on Earth. He wasn't supposed to be there, but he had used someone else's security pass to enter. Nara slipped in behind him, keeping to the shadows as he hid behind a large column. The council members entered the chamber, unaware they were being watched. Ambassador Thorl, Diplomat Venka, and 5 other high-ranking officials gathered around a glowing table. "Earth's resources are even more valuable than we expected," said Thorl. "The humans have no idea what they truly possess. Their genetic structure is exactly what we need," said another council member. "Once we complete the harvest, we can solve our degradation issues for at least 3 more generations." "What about the population reduction?" asked Venka. "The usual 20% retention." 10% will be sufficient for this world," replied Thorl. "We don't need many of them for labor. Their main value is biological." Nara felt sick as she listened. She had been born on a council world, raised to believe in their mission of galactic unity. But recently, she had discovered disturbing records about her own people. They too had once been harvested centuries ago. Most of her kind didn't know their true history. She watched Dr. West slip away, his face pale with shock. She should follow him. She should report him. Instead, she returned to her quarters and sat in silence for hours. The next day, Nara made a decision that would change everything. She tracked down Jack Harper as he left the Defense Force headquarters. "Commander Harper," she said quietly as she fell into step beside him. "Don't react. Keep walking. I am Council Security Officer Nara." To his credit, Jack didn't break stride. "I assume this isn't a social call. I know what you and your friends have been doing," she said. "But more importantly, I know what my people are planning to do to yours." Jack's face remained calm, but his eyes showed his surprise. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I've seen the truth. Earth isn't the first world the Council has conquered this way. It's just the latest." They walked to a quiet park and sat on a bench. There, Nara told Jack everything. How the Council had been harvesting species across the galaxy for their biological resources. How they reduced populations to manageable numbers and enslaved the survivors. How they erased the true history of conquered worlds. "My own ancestors were victims," she said. "Most of my people don't even know. We think we've always been part of the Council." "Why should I believe you?" Jack asked. In response, Nara handed him a small device. "This contains access codes to restricted Council archives. It will show you everything, including the location of a facility on Mars where they're already experimenting on humans they've taken." Jack stared at the device. "They have a base on Mars. They have bases throughout your solar system. The one on Mars is where they test the harvesting procedures. There are humans there now. Hundreds of them. If you're caught helping us, I'll be executed," Nara said simply. "But I can't be part of this anymore. Not now that I know the truth." Jack studied her face, then nodded slowly. "We need to move fast. Can you help us get to Mars?" "Yes," Nara said. "But you'll need more help than just your 2 friends. What you'll find there, it will change everything you think you know about your species and mine." Jack knew they needed more help before going to Mars. Karen and Dr. West weren't soldiers. Nara had fighting skills, but she couldn't be seen helping humans. They needed someone with combat experience who would believe their story. He found Lieutenant Samantha Rodriguez training in the gym. She was one of the best tactical specialists in the Defense Force. She was also someone whose brother, Louis, had disappeared while working on a council project 3 months ago. "I need to show you something," Jack said after making sure they were alone. "It's about your brother." Samantha's eyes narrowed. "What about Louis?" "The council said he was transferred to a research station on Venus." "That's not true," Jack said gently. "Please, just look at this." He showed her the files Nara had given them. Records of humans taken for testing. Luis Rodriguez was on the list, currently held at the Mars facility. Samantha's face hardened as she read. "When do we leave?" With Nera's help, they took a small council transport ship. She had arranged for it to be logged as a routine supply mission to Mars. The journey took only 2 days with council technology. They landed near the facility, which was hidden beneath what looked like a natural formation. Using Nera's access codes, they entered through a service tunnel. "Stay close," Nera whispered. "Most security is automated." They moved through dim corridors that curved deep into the red planet. Jack was surprised by how large the facility was. This wasn't a new construction. It looked like it had been here for years, maybe decades. "How long has the council been on Mars?" he asked Nera. "They've had observation posts in your solar system for over 200 years, she replied. "This facility was built 50 years ago." Samantha checked her weapon. Where would they keep prisoners? Nera led them deeper. They passed laboratories where alien scientists worked on samples. They saw storage rooms filled with containers labeled in council language. "What do these say?" Dr. West asked, pointing to the labels. "Human tissue samples," Nera translated, "organized by genetic markers." They reached a large circular room with multiple doors. A holographic display showed human genetic sequences rotating slowly. "This is impossible," Dr. West said, staring at the display. "These are historical human DNA samples, from thousands of years ago to present day." "The council has been watching us for that long?" Karen asked. "Not just watching," Nera said quietly. "Guiding. They've been manipulating human evolution, steering your development to produce specific traits." Jack felt cold. "Why?" "Because you have something they need." Nera moved to a terminal and accessed more files. "Look at this." The screen filled with images of different alien species, thousands of them. Each had data attached. "This is the Council's database of conquered worlds," Nera explained. "Every species they've harvested. Some are extinct now. Others exist only as slave populations." Dr. West downloaded the data to a device they had brought. "This is evidence, proof of what they're planning." Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed in the corridors. "They've detected the unauthorized data access," Nera said. "We need to leave now." They ran toward the exit, but security doors began closing. Armed guards appeared ahead, weapons raised. "This way," Samantha called, pointing to a side passage. They ran, dodging energy blasts from the guards. They reached a junction, but more guards appeared. "Keep going," Dr. West shouted, pushing the data device into Jack's hands. "I'll hold them off." Before anyone could stop him, Dr. West grabbed Samantha's spare weapon and fired at the guards, drawing their attention. "Get that information to Earth," he yelled. "Go." Jack wanted to stay and help, but Karen pulled him away. "We need that data. It's what he would want." They escaped through maintenance tunnels, the sounds of fighting fading behind them. When they reached the ship, Dr. West wasn't with them. They'd waited as long as they dared, but council reinforcements were coming. "We have to go," Nera said, "or his sacrifice means nothing." As they lifted off from Mars, Jack looked at the data device in his hand. Whatever secrets it held, Dr. West had given his freedom, maybe his life, to get it to Earth. Jack wouldn't let that be in vain. The journey back to Earth was tense and quiet. Jack, Karen, Samantha, and Nera each dealt with their own thoughts about what they had seen on Mars and what had happened to Dr. West. The data device they carried felt heavier than its small size suggested. Once safely hidden in Jack's apartment, they connected the device to Karen's computer system. What they found shocked them all. "This is incredible," Karen said as she sorted through the files. "The Council has been studying humans for thousands of years. They have records going back to ancient civilizations." Nera pointed to certain files. "Look at these. They show how the Council guided human development. They introduced certain technologies at specific times. They even influenced your wars and peace agreements." "But why?" Jack asked. "Why spend so much time on one planet?" Nara opened another file. This is what they've been hiding from everyone, even most council members. The screen showed complex genetic diagrams. Even without understanding the details, Jack could see something was wrong. The alien DNA structures were breaking down, coming apart. The council species are dying, Nara explained. Their genetic code is degrading after thousands of years of artificial manipulation. They engineered themselves to be stronger, smarter, longer-lived. But they made mistakes they can't fix. And human DNA can help them. Samantha asked. Yes, Karen said, studying the data. According to this, humans have unique genetic properties. Our DNA is more adaptable, more resilient than theirs. So they're not just conquering us, Jack said. They need us to survive. They need parts of you, Nara corrected. Not all of you. Their plan is to harvest those genetic elements from millions of humans, then keep a small population as test subjects and workers. The room fell silent as they processed this information. Then Karen gasped, pointing at the screen. Look at this, schematics for their technology. Their ships, weapons, communication systems. Jack leaned closer. Can we use this? Maybe, Karen said. These show. Wait, look here. Every major council technology has built-in weaknesses, like secret off switches. Fail-safes, Nara confirmed. The council builds them into everything they give to subject species. If anyone tries to use council technology against them, they can shut it all down instantly. But now we know about these weaknesses, Samantha said. We could use them. They worked through the night, analyzing the data. Meanwhile, on the main council ship orbiting Earth, Security Chief Drax interrogated a prisoner. Tell me what you shared with the humans, Drax demanded, circling Dr. West, who was bound to a chair. Dr. West's face was bruised, but his eyes remained defiant. They know everything. About the harvesting. About what you've done to other worlds. Drax struck him hard across the face. Who helped you access the Mars facility? One of our own betrayed us. Who was it? Dr. West said nothing. Drax signaled to a guard, who brought in a painful-looking device. The human resistance will fail, Drax said. We're accelerating our timetable. Phase 2 begins now. Back on Earth, Jack was awakened by an urgent call from his superior at the Defense Force. Harper, get to headquarters immediately. The Council is deploying ships around every major city. They're saying it's for our protection, but something feels wrong. Jack looked at the others who had heard the call. They're moving early. We need to warn people. With what proof? Samantha asked. Who would believe us against them? We need to reach people in power, Jack said. Show them what we found. Karen, can you use what we learned about their technology? Find a way to fight back. Karen nodded. I'll need help. Engineers, programmers. I know people we can trust, Samantha said. Nara looked worried. The Council will notice any large-scale preparations, and they'll be looking for me by now. Then we work in small groups, Jack decided. Spread the word quietly. Find people who will listen. Outside, more council ships appeared in the sky. On news channels, council representatives spoke of increased protection and new technological gifts. But now Jack knew what those gifts really meant. They had little time to save humanity from becoming just another conquered species in the Council's long history. Jack stood before a small group of military and government officials in a secure underground room. Most looked skeptical. Some looked afraid. All of them were people that Jack or Samantha had carefully selected as potential allies. What you're suggesting is impossible, said General Laura Banks. The Council has been nothing but helpful. That's what they want us to think, Jack replied. He nodded to Karen, who displayed the files from Mars on a large screen. This is their real plan for Earth. For the next hour, they showed the evidence, the history of Council conquests, the genetic harvesting program, the secret Mars facility. When they finished, the room was silent. I've known Jack Harper for 15 years, said Admiral Peter Jones finally. "He's no conspiracy theorist. If he says this is real, I believe him." "But what can we do against their technology?" asked a government minister. "They could wipe us out from orbit." Nara stepped forward. The officials tensed at seeing a council member. "The council prefers conquest through deception," she explained. "Open destruction creates problems. It wastes resources they want to harvest." Samantha pointed to the schematics Karen had found. "Their technology has weaknesses. Built-in fail-safes we can exploit. We just need time to develop countermeasures." Slowly, the group began to see the possibilities. By the end of the meeting, they had a plan. Each person would quietly recruit trusted colleagues. They would form cells across military and government organizations. They would prepare without alerting the council. Over the next days, their network grew. Karen led a team of engineers working on ways to disable council technology. Samantha trained special forces units in tactics that might work against council security. Jack coordinated between the various groups, building a global resistance. "The hard part will be getting world leaders to listen," Jack told Nara as they reviewed their progress. "Most are completely charmed by the council. We need to show them proof they can't ignore," Nara replied. "And we need your Dr. West. He knows more about their genetic program than anyone. How can we rescue him?" "He's on their main ship." A plan began to form. Using the schematics, they identified a vulnerable point during prisoner transfers. Council ships regularly moved between their orbiting fleet and Earth. If they could intercept one of these transfers. The opportunity came 3 weeks later. Intelligence showed Dr. West would be moved to a ground facility for further questioning. A small team led by Samantha prepared to intercept the transport. Jack waited anxiously at their hidden base. When the team returned, they carried Dr. West between them. He was alive, but badly injured. They wanted to know everything. Dr. West said weakly after receiving medical care. "About all of you. About what we found on Mars." "Did you tell them?" Jack asked gently. "Not everything. But they know we have the data. They know about Nara helping us." As if confirming his words, emergency alerts sounded across the city. Council ships moved into position above major military installations worldwide. On all channels, Ambassador Thorl announced that a dangerous terrorist group was threatening the Earth Council alliance. He declared limited martial law for human protection. "They're dropping the pretense," Karen said, watching the news. "They know we've discovered their plan." "Then we've lost the element of surprise," Jack said. "But they've lost something too. Their mask of friendship." Around the world, people watched in confusion as council security forces took control of government buildings. Some humans resisted and were quickly subdued. Most simply complied, still believing the council was protecting them. But in hidden locations across the planet, resistance groups prepared. Using council technology they had modified, they established secure communications. Following the plans Karen had developed, they readied weapons that could work against council defenses. "They think they've won," Jack told his growing team. "They don't know what we've learned. They don't know we've compromised their systems. For the first time, a world is fighting back before the harvesting begins." He looked at the determined faces around him. "Tomorrow, we show the council that humanity isn't just another species to be conquered." Dawn broke over a world that had changed overnight. Council ships hovered above every major city. Alien troops patrolled the streets. On all screens, council messages told people to stay calm and cooperate for their own safety. But beneath this show of power, the resistance was ready. In secret locations around the globe, Karen's modified devices were turned on. These devices began to interfere with council communications, inserting small errors and delays. "It's working," Karen told Jack as they watched data flow across her screens. "They don't realize their systems are compromised yet." Jack nodded. Time for the next phase. Across the world, resistance teams moved into position. They had only one chance to coordinate their attacks. At exactly the same moment, they struck at council ships in 12 different locations. Weapons that should not have worked against Council shields suddenly broke through. Ships that should have been impervious to Earth technology began falling from the sky. The Council's technological advantage was failing. In New York, Jack led a team toward the main Council headquarters, which had been established in the old United Nations building. Samantha and her special forces moved ahead, clearing the way through confused Council guards. "They're calling for reinforcements," Nara said, listening to Council communications through a device Karen had made for her. "But our interference is slowing their response." The team fought their way into the building. Council guards fell back, surprised by the effectiveness of human weapons. In the central chamber, they found what they were looking for: the primary communication array linking Earth to the wider Council network. "This is our chance," Jack said. "Karen, can you do it?" Karen nodded and connected her device to the Council system. "Uploading the virus now. It will spread through their entire network, exploiting those backdoors we found." While Karen worked, Samantha received reports from around the world. "The Council is trying to round up humans in major cities, but our forces are fighting back. People are seeing the truth." Outside, the sounds of battle grew louder. Council reinforcements were arriving. Jack checked his weapon. "We need to hold this position until the upload is complete." The doors burst open. Council security troops poured in, led by a tall, scared figure, Security Chief Drax, the one who had tortured Dr. West. "Traitors and primitives," Drax snarled, his eyes finding Nara. "You betray your own kind for these animals." "I betray nothing," Nara replied. "The Council betrayed its purpose long ago. You've forgotten what we once stood for." Fighting erupted across the chamber. Jack and Samantha protected Karen as she worked. Nara faced Drax directly, their weapons clashing in a display of Council combat techniques. "Almost done," Karen called over the noise. "Just a few more seconds." Jack saw a Council soldier taking aim at Karen. He leaped forward, taking the shot meant for her. Pain seared through his shoulder, but he kept fighting. "It's done," Karen shouted. "The virus is in their system." On screens around the chamber, Council communications began playing openly. Every message, every plan, every lie they had told was suddenly visible to all. Most importantly, Jack's voice began broadcasting across all channels, using the evidence they had gathered. "People of Earth," his recorded message said, "this is Commander Jack Harbour. The Galactic Council has lied to us. They've conquered countless worlds before ours. They plan to harvest humanity for their own survival. Today, we fight back. Today, we show them humanity won't be another name on their list of conquered species." The message played on screens worldwide, accompanied by images from the Mars facility and the Council's own records. People who had been complying with Council orders began to resist. Earth military forces that had been held back joined the fight. In orbit, Council ships suddenly lost power as the virus spread through their systems. The fail-safes they had built into their technology were being used against them. Drax stared in disbelief as his communications device showed the spreading rebellion. "What have you done?" he demanded. Jack, bleeding but standing, faced him. "We've turned your greatest weapon against you. Your secrets. Your lies. The truth is humanity's weapon now." News of the resistance spread across Earth like wildfire. Council ships were falling from the sky or retreating to orbit. In cities worldwide, humans fought back against alien forces that suddenly found their advanced weapons failing. But Jack knew the fight wasn't over. The Council's main fleet was still in deep space, coming to crush Earth's rebellion. They needed a final victory before those ships arrived. "We need to get to their flagship," Jack told his team as medical staff treated his shoulder wound. "That's where the Supreme Counselor is, the one who ordered all this." Karen looked up from her computer. "The virus has spread throughout their network. It's also reaching their colonies across the galaxy. Reports are coming in of uprisings on other worlds." This was news even Nara hadn't expected. Other conquered species are fighting back. "Yes," Karen said. "When we broadcast the truth about the Council's history, it went everywhere. Worlds that never knew they were conquered are learning the truth. Using a council shuttle, Jack, Nara, Samantha, and Karen headed to the flagship orbiting Earth. The virus had disabled most of its defenses, but not all. They fought their way through remaining security forces to reach the command center. There they found Supreme Counselor Zex, ancient and frail-looking despite his powerful position. Unlike the other council members, he showed no fear as they entered. "I've been expecting you," Zex said, his voice surprisingly gentle. "You've done what no other species has managed in 10,000 years. You've turned our own methods against us." "It's over," Jack said. "Your fleet is facing rebellions throughout your territory. They won't get here in time to save you." Zex nodded slowly. "Perhaps, but I still have one option left." He touched a control panel. A holographic display appeared, showing a strange device attached to Earth's core. "A failsafe. If I activate it, your planet's core will destabilize. Earth will be destroyed within days." Jack kept his weapon aimed at Zex. "You'd destroy what you came to harvest." "If we can't have it, no one will," Zex replied. "But I'm offering you a choice, Commander Harper. A way to save your world." "What choice?" "Our species are dying. You've seen the evidence. Give us what we need. The genetic solution only humans can provide. Allow us to take what we need from your population. Millions will die, but billions will live. Earth will survive." The room fell silent. Jack glanced at his companions, seeing the horror on their faces. "There's another option," said a new voice. Dr. West entered the room, leaning on a cane. Though still weak from his captivity, his eyes were clear and determined. "I've studied your genetic problems. There is a solution that doesn't require harvesting anyone." Zex looked skeptical. "Impossible. Our best scientists have tried for centuries." "Your scientists were looking for ways to take what they needed," Dr. West said. "I looked for ways to share it. Voluntary genetic therapy. A symbiotic relationship between our species." He approached Zex without fear. "Your people are dying because you tried to force evolution. You tried to take shortcuts. Real healing requires cooperation, not conquest." Jack lowered his weapon slightly. "Is this true?" Dr. West nodded. "It would require willing participants from both sides. It would take time. But it would work, and no one needs to die." Zex studied the human doctor for a long moment. "You offer this after what we plan to do to your world?" "Yes," Dr. West said simply, "because that's what makes us human." 3 months later, Earth looked very different. The old council had been dissolved. Council ships now worked alongside human vessels to rebuild what had been damaged in the fighting. On other worlds across the galaxy, formerly conquered species reclaimed their histories and independence. In a new medical facility built where the council headquarters once stood, Dr. West led a team of human and alien scientists developing treatments for the genetic degradation afflicting former council species. The first volunteers from both sides were already showing promising results. Jack stood at a window, watching ships rise toward the stars. Earth ships built with a new understanding of space travel, not stolen or copied, but freely shared in a genuine alliance. "Ready for the meeting?" Karen asked, joining him. Jack nodded. As Earth's representative to the new Galactic Alliance, he had a busy schedule. Today, 2 more liberated worlds would join their growing community. "It's still hard to believe," Jack said. "We turned their greatest weapon against them." "What weapon was that?" Karen asked. Jack smiled. "The truth. And then we offered something they never expected." "What?" "A better way forward. Together."